Good morning, ladies. Happy Wednesday. I hope you are doing well and this message finds you in a good place. If not, rise up, wake up. It is midway through the week. We're going to do this. We are on week 5, day 3 of Daily Grace Co's Journey to Freedom, a study on the life of Moses. And today it asks that we read Exodus chapter 35, verse 1, all the way through chapter 36 and stop at verse 7. And today's topic of discussion is restoring the covenant bond. And today's devotion goes like this. After receiving the 10 Commandments on a new stone tablet, Moses descends Mount Sinai and returns to the camp to restore the covenant relationship between God and the people. He relays the standard to which the Israelites must adhere. They must resist the temptation of adultery and trust in God's loving kindness to enjoy the blessing of his presence. Through Moses, Yahweh re-emphasizes the Sabbath command, which is to dedicate the 7th day of the week as a day of rest before the Lord. After 6 days of labor, the Israelites are to enjoy a repose for their physical and spiritual well-being. The Sabbath is a time for them to savor the sweet presence of God, fellowship with others, and rest in their identity as God's possession. Reinstating the Sabbath commands show that God still desires communion, even after the betrayal of the golden calf. Through Moses' intercession as a mediator, God heals what was broken and reveals his commitment to dwell among his people. After hearing the news from Moses, what a relief this must be for the Israelites. They continue the journey to the promised land with the glory of the true God in their mindset. Moses moves forward with the Lord's instructions to build the tabernacle, a portable and large tent structure where the glory of God would abide. Instead of coming and going up on mountaintops, the Lord would rest in the center of the Israelite camp permanently. And the tabernacle would radiate the light of God to surrounding nations, establishing God's kingdom on earth and calling others to him. Moses invites the Israelites to contribute to the construction of the tabernacle. He takes up an offering from among the people. Those hearts who are willing, reference in Exodus chapter 35, verse 5, bring Moses gold, silver, bronze, gemstones, yarn, fine linen, acacia woods, spices, oils, and fragrance. ACACIA, so a wood. If I butchered it, I apologize. Some scholars suggest that some of these luxurious materials were a part of items given by Egyptians as the Israelites were fleeing, referenced in Exodus chapter 12, verses 35 through 36. What was used for man's opulence in Egypt is now used for God's glory in his dwelling place. Also, God that had been fashioned together for the calf statue is no longer associated with idol worship. Instead, gold has been reclaimed to show the beauty of God's divine presence. The people bring this offering out of a gratitude for God's forgiveness and restoration. God's grace moves their hearts to give generously. God softens their hearts so that they understand the severity of their sin and the magnitude of the Lord's kindness. The Israelites must realize they are underserving sinners and are so grateful for God's covenant faithfulness. Though no gift will be enough to repay the Lord, they freely give back to him an offering of thankfulness. Their gratitude moves them not only to bring the items, but also to prepare them. Both men and women ready raw materials for use. Skilled women spin fibers and animal hair to make yarn and linen. Every morning, the people bring and prepare an overwhelming number of items for the tabernacle's construction, so much that Moses orders them to stop. The skilled craftsmen have more than enough supplies required to assemble the tabernacle. Through God's appointment, Moses calls Bezalel and Oholiab to lead the project. Bezalel is B as in boy, E, Z as in zebra, A, L as in Larry, E-L, and Oholiab, Oholiab, to lead the project. They're project managers. Moses had project managers back in the day, so it's like, get the drift. However, the Lord fills them and the other craftsmen with his spirit, endowing them with artistic ability, architects. God's spirit gifts them with wisdom, understanding, and aptitude so that they can accomplish the work excellently. Moses oversees as Bezalel and Oholiab gathered the materials for the tabernacle. A place of beauty, the tabernacle would be a picture of God's throne room in heaven. The craftsmen would also create clothing for the priests who were chosen to steward the tabernacle and lead the Israelites in the right worship. Their clothing would be ornate and royal. God selects Aaron and his sons to serve as priests in the tabernacle, referenced in Exodus chapter 28, verse 1. There, the priests are to perform animal sacrifices or worship rituals to atone for the people's sins and represent the nation of Israel before God. Through their priestly duties, the glory of the Lord will remain in the Holy of Holies, the innermost part of the tabernacle. Here, the visible God would rest, and the people would be blessed by his presence among them. In today's passage, we see the restoration of the covenant God between God and the Israelites. Through Moses' intercession and the worship duties of the priests later, God will continue to be their God and abide with them in the tabernacle. Unfortunately, communion in the tabernacle would not last. The Israelites' grateful hearts seen in Exodus chapter 35 would once again turn idolatrous later in redemptive history. Complete restoration of our covenant relationship with God is only accomplished through the intercession of the true high priest, Jesus. He has done so by loving the Father and keeping his commands. Through his sacrifice, he makes a bridge between us and God. Jesus repairs the relationship our idolatry violated. When we place our faith in him and his saving work, Jesus brings us into permanent Sabbath rest, where we are forever grateful for the Spirit of God who dwells with us. That's it for today's devotion. 3 questions, ladies. The first question is, how does keeping the Sabbath rest protect the Israelites from falling into idolatry again? Second question is, as seen in today's reading, thankful hearts leads to generosity in worship. How do you show gratitude for the Lord's saving work? And where can we be more generous? And lastly, how does Spirit-given creative ability in the construction of the tabernacle affect how you view the various gifts among the church body? How does this show our dependence on God for all things? And that is all for today's devotion. I gotta get some moving to getting some kids to school and doing all the things, but have a blessed day. If you'd like to discuss, send me a message. Love hearing from you all. Have a great, great day. Let's get this day going. Be blessed.